Welcome, everybody, and thank you for joining us today for our webinar with Jill Lublin, How to Stay Visible in Troubled Times. My name is Mary Beth, and I'm Jill's assistant, and I'm here to support Jill and all of you today. First, a little bit about Jill. Jill Lublin is an international speaker on the topics of radical influence, publicity, networking, kindness, and referrals. She is the author of 4 best-selling books, including Get Noticed, Get Referrals, and she is the co-author of Guerrilla Publicity and Networking Magic. Her latest book, The Profit of Kindness, went #1 in 4 categories. Jill is a master strategist on how to position your business for more profitability and more visibility in the marketplace. She is the CEO of a strategic consulting firm and has over 25 years experience working with over 100,000 people, plus the national and international media. Jill teaches a virtual publicity crash course, and she consults and speaks all over the world. She also helps authors to create book deals with major publishers and agents, as well as to obtain foreign rights deals. And without further ado, everyone, please welcome Jill Lublin.
Thank you, Mary Beth, and welcome to everybody here. I'm so delighted that you've joined me today, and it's my intention and purpose to support you to create and gain more visibility in the marketplace. You know, believe it or not, this is a very interesting and wonderful time to create even more visibility for your business. I do want some of you to maybe shift your message. I want you also to know that publicity is a gardening process. You need to be planting seeds now so that they grow 3, 6, and 9 months ahead, right? And so that's really an important piece as you look to see what it is that you're getting out there, and to also know that publicity is a fabulous and excellent strategy to create more visibility in the marketplace. And I'll tell you even more about it as we go into the wonderful presentation today and supporting you also with your questions. So as you have questions, you can do a number of things. You can write them in the chat. Once I get through the, shall we say, major content of what I really want to teach you today about how to create real visibility, right, and use publicity. And after that, I'll come on and I'll interact with you and answer your questions and support you with what you need next, okay? So just know this is your time. And also, I just want to make sure that you know the right way to get publicity done and to support you in a way that creates visibility. And at the end of the presentation, I'll let you know how you can continue to work with me in my virtual publicity course. And, you know, the thing I want to say to you is what I'm seeing right now is so many people being able to shift a message, right? So, for instance, I have a parenting coach as an example, and she is doing stories about how to raise your kids without tearing your hair out, right? I'm sure some of you can relate to that. And then there's my business consultant. And we were in the publicity course recently, and she goes, Jill, I don't know math. And now I got to teach my kid math. How am I supposed to do this? And because we were able to support her to create ongoing visibility, what was so fabulous about that was that then she got a story about how do you be a mom, a teacher, a business consultant, and manage and balance all the above. So I want you to be thinking about, yeah, I see heads nodding, thank you. I want you to be thinking about how can you create that ongoing visibility? How can you take your message and swing it and switch it? So here's another great example. Between last week and this week, I had actually 5, maybe 6 big radio stations in Columbus, in Kentucky, in Louisville, in Cincinnati, different parts of the country, and major radio stations. You know what I was talking about? Branding Aunt Jemima and Uncle Ben's, and why are they changing their branding? Well, I want you to hear that I'm actually a publicity expert, but I said yes to this because, well, good branding equals good publicity, and I certainly know about publicity. So one of the things I want you to think about is where can you extend your message? And by saying yes to being an expert on branding these brands and renaming them, etc., and what does that mean for today? I certainly can talk about that. Why? Because I'm a publicity expert, right? And so, I would tell you that some people might have said, well, geez, I can't talk about that. I'm not a branding expert. And one thing I want to teach you today, and it's actually one of my last parts of the presentation to you, is to always just say yes, no matter what the media asks you. I want you to create a message that's viable and visible and creating that ongoing recognition that you deserve. All right. So, I'll tell you, my friend P.T. Barnum, he said it best. And that is, a terrible thing happens without publicity. Well, nothing, right? Nothing, because if you don't do anything about publicity, nothing happens. And so I want to share with you that the power of what publicity does is actually drives your business. Let me show you what publicity does for your business. First of all, it equals high return on investment. Everybody I know who's been through my publicity courses that I've worked with privately, I can tell you story after story of the power of what's returned to them in everything from, for example, increased prospects, right? You're going to have more business and more sales. You're going to get more credibility and more visibility and more clients. Of course, that's important, as well as making more money and having more exposure in the marketplace. And I only mean the good kind. But what's powerful, and what I really want you to know, is the power of publicity brings you familiarity and trust in the marketplace. And that, my friends, is worth more than any sales, because what happens is it, number one, generates sales, and number two, brings you that kind of recognition and trust factor that's so important in today's marketplace. So I want to teach you a fabulous way to get your message heard. And the first thing is that you have to get your message right. And really, it's all about your message. In fact, interestingly enough, look at that word message. In the word message is me. First two letters in the word message is me. That's you. In the word message is sage. In the word message is sage. And also in the word message is mess. First four letters are mess. I want you to avoid that. So here I'm going to teach you the powerful, simple, and profound formula for getting your message out and doing it the right way. So first, I want you to define what's the problem today. And think about what's the problem today, not what you do. And this is the mistake everybody makes. It's not about what you do. It's what's the problem out there. Okay, so the problem out there can shift and change. For instance, one of my clients, although she coaches women and does some other fabulous things, she's a Black woman. And right now I've got her talking about Black Lives Matter and being a Black woman in today's moment. That's what she's talking about as the problem today, even though her other message was really about her business. This is the part I was telling you at the beginning about shift and change. Shift and change, and be ready to say yes to what's happening in the moment right now. That's why I said yes to the branding interviews, because it's the story about right now, right? And it's the story of what matters right now. So when you think about the problem today, I want you to be expansive in how you think about what you're using. And we'll talk in just a bit about using what I like to call everything you've got. And then, my friends, when you identify the problem, you want to also give solutions. And you want to give 3 solutions. I like 3 solutions. So right now I'm going to give you my message. Write it down, because this is a powerful PR pieces of advice. And I'm going to give them to you in really simple language, which is what I want you to do. And notice the 5-year-old language. Okay, so I'm about to give you thousands of dollars of PR advice right now in very simple language. Check it out. The problem today is 4 out of 5 businesses will go out of business because you have no clue how to create publicity without spending a fortune. I want to give you 3 guerrilla publicity tips today for how to get your message in the marketplace. The first way to get noticed is to create your ooh, ah factor. The second way is to create the I've heard of you somewhere syndrome. And the third way is focus on networking magic and show up in your communities at least twice a month for name and face recognition. And that's my simple message. And I say it that way because it's simple. This is my point to all of you. You must be simple in the marketplace. So that's a real key. By the way, for those of you who joined recently, please know that this is interactive. Feel free to put your questions in the chat. I will also be coming back to you so that I can answer questions at the end of the, shall we say, formal presentation. So I look forward to reconnecting with all of you. All right, so as you're doing the problem today, then you give 3 solutions, simple and easy. Now here's the part I'm referencing about changing sometimes your message, and this has been really quite effective for many of my clients in multiple industries. And I do work with all kinds of people in all kinds of industries. And I love the variety and the diversity, but here's what I've learned. It always comes down to the power of your message. And the other thing it comes down to is using what I like to call the ooh, ah factor. And I spelled it out on the slide just in case you can't. You ready? It's the ooh, ah factor. Lots of O's and lots of H's. And so what do I mean by that? Well, I mean that you have to use everything you've got. Everything you've got. Why am I talking about branding Aunt Jemima and Uncle Ben's? Because I understand the power of moving a brand and what that means in today's times and what that public relations move means in today's times. I told you about my woman who's a coach, who's a Black woman. She's talking about Black Lives Matter because she's using everything she's got. What can you be using? Told you about the parenting coach who, because of today's moment when everybody's homeschooling kids, that's the story we used, right? And so what can you be using? Everything you've got. That's really a key right now. And I want you to think about that. My Hispanic clients are going to Hispanic media, Christian clients to Christian media, so on and so forth. And I think that's really a key. And I think as we're looking at that, think for yourself, what could you be using? The women I work with went out for International Women's Day in March, right? How can you be using everything you've got? Let me show you Ryan. Ryan is a client of mine. I'd been giving a speech and he came running up to me. He's like, Jill, I really want to work with you. I'm like, great, Ryan, what do you do? Well, he told me he's an instructional designer. And frankly, I didn't know what that was. So I asked him and he told me, and then I'm like, Ryan, no offense. I know you want to build your business. You want to create more prospects. You want to get visibility and drive business to you. And you know that publicity will do that for you. But realistically, that story is not going to work. So tell me your story. Well, Ryan told me that he had been downsized from a corporate job, fired. At that time, he had a pregnant wife with their 3rd child on the way, and he had just bought a big house, and now he's got a big mortgage payment. He's got, a pregnant wife with their 3rd child on the way and no job. I'm like, Ryan, that isn't exactly a formula for success. What'd you do? He said, well, I started my own consulting business, and literally within 24 hours, he had 7 virtual employees doing instructional design. I thought, well, now that's interesting. And so one thing I have a gift for is creating messages that work and messages that matter. And so I said to Ryan, you know what you are? You are a virtual office warrior. Think of the acronym for that. The acronym is VOW. Ryan took a vow, virtual office warrior, never to work in an office again. And check out the San Francisco Business Times headline actually used the term vow. When fired, you too can vow not to work in an office again. By the way, that story has relevance now too, doesn't it? He also made Mac Home Journal. Ryan laughed. He goes, Jill, I don't even have a Mac. Doesn't matter. He made Home Computing Weekly, another national magazine, because he works from home. Another great story that many of you have right now. He made Entrepreneur Magazine. Picture this, you an Entrepreneur Magazine? You bet that would be driving business to you. And let me tell you that when Ryan hired me, he didn't have new clients for his business, but he knew the power of publicity to do this for himself. So look what happened. He was featured in major national magazines. His business revenues increased over 40% using publicity marketing strategies, and literally one placement in the Chinese Times, because remember I said use everything you've got. Ryan is Asian American. And although he doesn't speak a word of Chinese, we put and translated his article into the Chinese Times. And that resulted in over $7,000 of consulting business from one article. Imagine this. What would that do for your business? One article, $7,000 worth of business. And I showed you actual magazines he's been on. There were so many others that resulted in so much more business. But that's what I'm saying and talking about when I say publicity equals high return on investment. Because Ryan launched his business literally from zero to thriving with literally the power of publicity. And that's why I love publicity and how powerful it is for all of you. All right, so I want to show you, if I might, what happened with the Profit of Kindness. This is my 4th book. And, as much as I'd love to say, wow, Jill's got a new book out and that's the story, that is not the story, my friends. And I work a lot with self-published authors, and I help actually people get real book deals without a word written. In fact, I'm so excited. I've got a woman, Susie Carter, who's got a book coming out called Power Your Profits. It's coming out on Simon & Schuster. And when she came to me with the book idea, there was not a word written. One of the reasons helped her get an agent who got her a 6-figure book deal with Simon & Schuster is because she has platform and influence. Publicity equals influence. And so that was a super thing for her. And she has an affiliation with Lisa Nichols, who she actually worked with for quite a while. And that's why people wanted her. So I'm going to suggest to you that publicity equals influence. Influence equals the opportunity to get your name in front of far more people and have what you want, which is influence with your clients, attraction factor so that more people come to you, and frankly, getting into the media, which is really a beautiful attraction strategy in that people will immediately see you as the expert that I know you are. And so when the Profit of Kindness came out, I did what I would do for any of my clients and sat back and thought, well, what's really the message here? And what I realized is that the United States was really the divided states of America. And that story, my friends, got me 7 major market TV interviews, including Fox News. I did over 7 of them in the first week, in Arizona, in Las Vegas, in Oakland, California, in Sacramento, California, CBS Morning Show in Virginia. Many of these were via Skype, some were in person and live. I've done 75 radio and podcasts and counting. They're still coming in. I'm doing one today in the afternoon. And article placements on Inc. magazine and Forbes Small Business, internationally in Australia and a Persian magazine, all kinds of fabulous places. Please go to profitofkindness.com. You'll see lots more. And at the bottom of the slide, you'll see about 1/3 of some of the media we got. And I'm going to tell you, it's because we hit the right message. And this is one of my gifts, is knowing how to hit the right message. The other thing I want to share with you is that a seed had been planted in my heart to start kindness circles, to impact kindness in business. And our next one, and I invite you completely for free as my guest, is Friday, July 31st. We go from 10 to 11:30 and we practice kindness in business. We'd love to have you there. Please go register. Mary Beth has put it in the chat how you register. You go to jilllublin.com/kindness circles. And so here's what I'm showing you between Ryan and me, and I could show you so many others, of finding the right message, finding the right message. But here is the lesson that you must take forth from today. And that is, no matter what the media asks you, just say yes. Just say yes. And really the yes is what will be the major story that will bring you, you know, like I was telling you, I have had 6 major radio interviews. One of them was about the Dixie Chicks dropping Dixie out of their name, right? Now, funny enough, I actually started my career in the music business, which taught me all about perception, all about the media, and helped me even answer questions like that. But certainly, you know, what I want to share with you is that most media interviews, when I was doing Fox News, for example, when Prophet of Kindness came out, talking about kindness on Fox, I loved it. You know, most interviews were 4 minutes and 20 seconds. And remember that you will be forging ahead, planting your seeds now, my friends, for 3, 6, and 9 months ahead. And that's what's important, to keep your business powerful, keep it in the marketplace, keep your visibility high, and do publicity the right way. So I say, just say yes always, no matter what the media asks you. You will become a medium, well, at least in the media, and everything counts and it all matters. Because even though I'm doing these branding, wonderful messages in the past week about Aunt Jemima, Uncle Ben's, and the change of names and the change of brands, hey, here's the super cool thing. At the end of every media interview, and by the way, the longest one was 8 minutes and 20 seconds, right? And at the end of every media interview, they would say, we're talking to master publicity strategist Jill Lublin. You can reach her at jilllublin.com. And they always drive people back to my website. Imagine what that would do for you. Not to mention being able to use this media again, and again. That's powerful. Now, speaking of being able to use media, I want to be able to help you use media the right way. And after I let you know how you can work with me, I'm going to come back and I'm going to answer your questions that you have for you. All right, so I've developed and created a virtual publicity course. This is a no-nonsense, get it done, roll up our sleeves, and in one day, virtually, we're going to, in a small group, where you'll have personalized attention. We're going to craft your message. Remember, the message is so key. That's the first thing we're going to do. We're going to actually write 3 documents, and you're going to have them done, not thinking about it anymore, but done. And that's a real key. Plus, you're going to have templates for them that you can use for any project that you are working on. And that's really powerful. I'm going to spill all the secrets that nobody tells you about PR and tell you exactly where to put your media and how to make it happen in an easy, really cost-effective way, and how to follow up and where to get the press releases into the media so that the media says yes to you. So 3 documents and 4 templates, get it done in a day. There's lots of breakout sessions. It's highly interactive. And I would love to be able to support you to get the media attention that you deserve. Now, I'm going to tell you that normally this class has been over $1,000. No kidding. And if you went to the site, you would see that. And what I've done is, frankly, special priced it because these are unusual times and I want to make publicity affordable for everybody. So it's $197. The course is $197, and how you register is you go to publicitycrashcourse.com. You enter the promo code Stay Visible. It's all case sensitive in one word. So the code is Stay Visible, and you choose a date. It's on Zoom. It's super simple, really easy. We have a lot of fun, and great people are in it. So it's great networking. Most importantly, though, for you, it's getting your publicity done in a way that's right for you, knowing how to do it, simplified, and really get it done kind of day. So very practical, very tactical, just like I am. And I would like to support you in getting your message out. All right, so you go again to publicitycrashcourse.com, enter the promo code Stay Visible, all case sensitive, all one word. Mary Beth has also put it in the chat for you if that's easier. And I will look forward to seeing you at the course. All right, now I'd love to come back and help you out, answer some questions, and we'll take some time to do that with some of you. All right, Mary Beth, let's bring us back and see who's got questions. You can physically raise your hand. You can raise your hand in the chat. Whatever works best for you, please feel free. Come on and ask me some questions. I'm here to help. Who's got some questions? Raise your hand or raise your hand in the participants button in the chat. All right. And I see, I can't quite see your full name there, but
Marie.
Mary Beth? Marie, thank you. Marie, go for it. Welcome.
Hi, thank you very much. One of the things I've been told before is, to get out articles or informational stuff to TVs, radios, newspapers, whatever. But no one ever says who to send it to.
Yes,
Is there
I understand.
a title that we look for, or?
Yeah, so, and by the way, I will go through this, I promise you, in the course, exactly where to send the list, how to get the list, where they are, who to send it to, and then some tips and tricks for how to do that. Let me give you a little preview though. And part of that is there are actual media lists that you can just buy. Frankly, I would prefer you buy them because it's a lot, believe it or not, less expensive than you having to figure it out. But you can also start with a few places. Like if you want to go local, your Chamber of Commerce, believe it or not, has great media lists. So does your media. Your ABC, NBC, CBS networks often will have media lists as a public service that they give out to consumers. That's a give back from them. So that's a great way, and one way that I would recommend to you to be able to do that. Okay, you're welcome. All right, who else might have a question? Do I see any other questions?
Jen, I'm sorry, Jen, you have your hand raised. Go right ahead.
I do. I'm trying to follow protocol. So thank you. Thank you very much.
We're not that formal.
No, okay. Jill, you had mentioned during your presentation that there were 3 tips. It was the ooh-ah factor, and then there was a middle one which I missed, and then the third one was use everything you've got. What was the middle one that I missed?
Okay, so let me just do it again. I'll do it from the top because for me that's easier to remember. And I'm sure everybody could use a little review because this is and literally, Jen, let me just tell you, in this contains thousands of dollars worth of PR advice. It's generated in a very simple, easy way, very 5-year-old, very purposely, by the way, so that anyone can understand it and that anyone can do it. Because I'm always committed to people having the tools they need simply to get your publicity done without spending a fortune. Okay, so let me give it to you from the top. So the problem today is 4 out of 5 businesses will go out of business because you have no clue how to create publicity without spending a fortune. I want to give you 3 guerrilla publicity tips for how to get your message in the marketplace. The first way to get noticed is to create your ooh-ah factor. The second way is to create the I've heard of you somewhere syndrome. And the third way is focus on networking magic and show up in your communities at least twice a month for name and face recognition. Does that help, Jen? Those are the three.
That's it. Perfect. Thank you very much.
You're so welcome. My pleasure. And also, just so you know, actually in the publicity course, we are going to do a strategy very specifically and get it done and written that day. That's going to get you out there every 60 days, completely free. That will be creating the I've heard of you somewhere syndrome. So just so you know, I've developed a very specific strategy around this. Get it done, make it free. We tell you exactly where to send it. It's a localized strategy, and what's wonderful is it puts your name in the news every 60 days, and it's free. We love that.
Thanks again.
You're welcome. My pleasure. Does anyone else have a question? Anything I can help you with? Either put it in the chat.
Marie has a follow-up question.
Absolutely. Either put it in the chat or go ahead and raise your hand. Go ahead, Marie, please.
Well, as no one raised their hand, I thought I'd ask another question. My business has to do with bringing people into the area that I live. And I know all the local contacts. It's all been great, but we all live here and nobody wants to do what I'm offering because we live here in this gorgeous place. So I'm having a hard time trying to, invite the world with, like $1.95. So it's how to spend the right amount of money in the right places, or use these, your techniques, which I'm looking forward to taking your course. But, it's a little different bringing people in who can't just stop by and see you. You don't have a storefront, you don't have an office. It's all done sort of magically on these little boxes. So.
Yes. Well, here's the good news. What I've been finding is these magical little boxes have actually increased me and many of my clients' visibility, ability to attract people more than ever before. So I want to tell you that I've actually had a number of clients that I've helped recreate in a way what their offer is, so that people can join you more virtually, more interactively. I don't know about all of you, but I'm actually able to attend more virtual networking meetings than I ever have before, which makes me totally thrilled and excited, right? You've all been able to do that? Yes? Yes, I see heads nodding. That's a beautiful thing. And by the way, that attracts more people. So here's a great example from a networking meeting that I attended recently. There's a woman in Las Vegas. I've never met her before. She does tea parties. She actually used to do them in assisted living facilities and other senior living facilities more so. She'd get paid by the facility and bring in tea. For obvious reasons, she can't do that right now. But you know what's interesting? She's having virtual tea parties. And by golly, I got 4 people together and we're going to do a virtual tea party with her. Did I mention I've never met her? I don't actually know her. I'm sure it'll be lots of fun. I hope it'll be lots of fun. What could go so wrong with tasting some tea virtually? But, I thought that was such an interesting idea. And here she is. By the way, she also runs a tea company. She sells tea. And of course, I'm going to end up buying tea. I know that. And I'm thrilled to buy tea because I love tea. I'm a major tea drinker, right? But I just thought that was super interesting. And she said to me on the call, very, very transparently, she goes, my business is just tanked. I don't know what to do. I'm like, what about virtual tea parties? And, for $35, people are buying her kits. I just think that's amazing. So she's bringing people in, and then I'm going to have her start talking about how to taste tea and what do you do, right? And how do you tell a good tea? And so that becomes the story. Not necessarily that she's pivoted her business, although that could be interesting too. Like the consultant I told you, who's all of a sudden a math teacher and says, I don't know what to do. I don't know math, there's always a story somewhere, Marie, and all of you. The question is finding the right story. And occasionally it takes a little digging around and understanding what works in the media. And hopefully today I brought up a lot of good things for you to be understanding, meaning just saying yes, meaning changing and using everything you've got, meaning finding ways that I'm actually going to teach you in the course. So I'm glad you're going to be in it, which every 60 days you're going to be out consistently again and again. so there are just some simple, easy things you can do repeatedly. And one thing I want to say that's actually important here is to be consistent and persistent in the media. Consistency and persistency trump everything, literally. And so I want you to think about how do you consistently keep your name out there? And that's why I'm saying yes to branding, even though I have to tell you, it was a bit uncomfortable. It was a bit like, oh my God, I better Google some things, right? And, Google is a beautiful thing. I just want to say, if anybody asks you to speak about something that you're going, oh, I don't know, I'm not exactly sure if I should, Google's a beautiful thing and it works and it's highly effective.
Yeah, thank you.
You're welcome, my pleasure. And we'll take maybe one more question. Does anybody else have a question or comment or something that I can help you with? Okay, Jen, thank you.
I'm back. So
you're back, all right.
I'm very curious. How did you become who you are today and figure out what your story is now? And if it morphed over time, recognizing that life changes weekly?
Oh, thank you for asking.
Excellent question.
Thank you. Yeah, so my story is circuitous. I think that's the way you pronounce it. Just like many of you, my path to helping others get their message out was really because I ended up doing, in a way, the wrong thing for me. I went to law school, and a highly creative mind like mine did not do well in law school. So I actually dropped out the first year. And much to my father's chagrin, I might add. And you got to understand, in my family, they were blue collar. And to be honest, I was the first one to graduate college, let alone go on to, graduate school, like law school. So everybody was so proud, including me, who always wanted to be an attorney, and until I got to law school and then discovered that it's not really my thing. So what I did, however, discover was my path. I ended up in the music business. And I ended up as director of promotion and publicity for multiple independent record labels. And I always kind of worked for the underdog, is what I tell you, meaning we didn't have big budgets like my friends at the major record labels had. I had a friend who was working with Tracy Chapman as an artist. And hopefully you know who she is. She's fantastic. And I love and adore her. And, my friend had a $2 million marketing budget for Tracy Chapman. Now let me just tell you, you give me $2 million, I can make anyone famous, right? It's a lot easier when you have a lot of money like that and you've got, a major record label behind you. But what I learned to do with the artists that we had is figure out how to get their names out there with not so big a budget. So that's why I wrote the book Guerrilla Publicity, right? The subtitle is Hundreds of Surefire Tactics to Get Maximum Sales for Minimum Dollars. This book's coming out in its third edition, by the way, because we've sold over 80,000 copies. And so once I started doing this, then I opened up my own PR agency. And I ran that for 7 years, a boutique PR agency. And what's really interesting, while I was in the more affordable range, my friends who had their PR agencies in the Silicon Valley, where I'm out of Northern California, their fees were $15,000 to $30,000 a month, right, for PR. And my heart always lied with the entrepreneur, the small business owner. I've often worked with all kinds of industries and all kinds of businesses, but particularly I love entrepreneurs and small business owners. So I figured out a way to make it highly affordable for small business owners to figure out publicity. And that became the virtual publicity course. And so with that, really my business changed, and I gave up the agency, and I started on my journey of really helping entrepreneurs in affordable ways. And then with the pandemic, frankly, I looked at all my pricing again, and that's why I'm saying I reduced it to $197, because again, I know that getting your word out there is important, and my heart's always been with helping an entrepreneur, a small business owner with real world ways to get their message out, because I know that if you hired a PR firm, it's quite expensive. And so I wanted to be able to deliver easy to digest, simple, and get it done tactics in easy ways. And I'll tell you, the publicity course took off. And it's been a wonderful way to work with a lot of people. And then I started helping people get their own books published. So I mentioned Susie Carter to you. I'll just show you the actual book. This is what the book looks like. It's going to be out on Simon & Schuster in September, I'm pretty sure. I think September. Yes. And that's pretty exciting, right? Now, this book did not exist before Susie dreamt it up. Meaning I helped her sell this book without a word written, So, a lot of people have a lot of dreams to get their books done. And since I have 4 of them, I actually know how to get books done. And then I help self-published authors get foreign rights deals, because The Prophet of Kindness, for instance, is now in India. Excuse me. Little hiccup there, is now in India and in Russia. In fact, in the middle of the pandemic, I got a check from Russia for kindness, and gosh knows they need it, right? So kindness is spreading throughout the world. And this book is now in 2 languages, and guerrilla publicity is in Serbian as well as simple Chinese. And more to come when the book comes out in the 3rd edition again in October. We'll have a 3rd edition out. So, life keeps going. And this is, my message to everyone is that you have to kind of adjust and keep going no matter what, which is why I feel so strongly that even though the world is a bit upside down, there is tremendous opportunities for each of you in what you know, in your gifts, to offer your right side up, whatever your right side up gift is. In my case, it's messaging. It's helping people understand the power of what publicity does, and then doing it and getting it done, even more importantly, right? And so that's just something I've always loved, and it's really been, it's all kind of come together in a wonderful way. And part of that was just by continuing to follow my heart, continuing to follow what's right. And I have to tell you, in the middle of the pandemic, I actually was in Egypt doing a speaking engagement at a women's conference, receiving an award for Women of Excellence. And, like all of a sudden I came back, and of course, everything was changed, and I had to change right along with it, which meant reassess the publicity course. I wasn't going to do them live. We created all virtual. That was really super cool. We lowered costs. We, increased ways to reach people, and it's been profound. And I've been very blessed to reach a lot more people by being able to now do it virtually. It's working actually better than ever. And I'm just really pleased that I've been able to adjust. And I think for all of us, it's learning how to adjust. And the first thing sometimes to adjust is your message. That's the key. And to be willing to know that when things happen, you also got to adjust your message. So right now is a moment where I've got some clients I'm pushing out of the nest, and I'm saying, we're going to adjust your message, and we're going to do it this way. Let's go. And I give them the words to say, because here's what I know. When you know the right words to say, your confidence goes way up, because I work a lot with extroverts, and maybe people are a little scared of publicity, or I don't know what to do, or, all that good stuff. So I answer the questions and get it done with them, and then help them to take next steps so that actually their message is getting out, and that it's consistent in the marketplace, and it's authentic to who they are, because that's important too. I hope that helped.
Yes, thank you very much. And the word that in all of that, and I suspect that everybody on this call would say the same, and that is looking for ways to be authentic, because then the rest just comes.
Exactly. It not only comes, but the truth is you're attracting it, right? And because you're a stand for it too. And I've worked with enough people to know that when you do publicity the right way, systematically, in an organized, consistent fashion, it works. It works. And, sometimes it's how you think, and sometimes it's not, including me talking about branding. That wasn't what I saw for myself in the past 2 weeks, but hey, there it was in front. And, we said thank you for the present. And then I can contribute a voice. And that's what I also see about the power of publicity, is that you're contributing your voice. When I say your voice, your gifts, what you do in the world, what you do in the marketplace, and that is a beautiful thing. So I really want to thank all of you for being here today, for taking your time and your focus and your energy. I appreciate you being with me here today. I invite you again to take the publicity course with me. It is literally a pricing I've never done before. It's only $197 now. And how to register is you go to publicitycrashcourse.com, put in the promo code Stay Visible, all lowercase, all one word. Also, if you have a book or something you want to talk to me about, schedule a time. JillLublin.com/schedule is how you do that. And I just, again, thank you all for being here today. I look forward to seeing you in the course, and I look forward to hearing your messages. And I want you to know that your message matters. Thank you again, everyone. Your message matters.
Thank you.
Have a beautiful and blessed day. You're welcome.
Thank you, everyone.